Hey, it's me, Lucid. So the new Dawn update has released to GC and also the tactical equipment pack at the same time. So this video is my review of both the free update and the DLC. I will be ranking every major addition in the update from 1 to 10 depending on how good I think the addition/change is. Anyways, without further ado, let's start the review. So let's start with the thing that I feel is the least interesting thing in the update. The new revamped starting missions. All missions up until you get to the warboard in Westland Bunker has been changed in drastic ways. The biggest change being the addition of 2 new NPCs that you will meet, Therese and Pontus. So let's start with the good things about the missions. The new missions do a better job at introducing new players to stuff that has been added on later in the lifecycle of GC. For example, crafting and bikes. Another good thing is that I feel like the missions are somewhat more enjoyable to play through, but that might just be because I'm used to the normal missions by now, so something fresh felt better. And the last good thing is that the new NPCs are most well voice acted and somewhat likable, well at least one of them, which is Pontus. But I like Pontus only since it's a sort of cameo for the community manager of GC. Now let's get on with the bad things. First is, why did they decide on adding NPCs? The whole start of the game mystery is completely ruined. The whole point of the story was the question, where did everyone go? But now less than 15 minutes into the game you find a person? I just don't see why they did it. It has completely ruined the mysterious nature of the start of the game. The second part is that I don't like Therese that much. Nothing wrong with the voice actor or something, but some of the lines are a bit cringy to be honest. But that is mostly just a personal issue. So the verdict on the new missions is unfortunately gonna be a 4 out of 10. Mostly just because the addition of NPCs is hella dumb. If they made newer missions without the addition of NPCs, I would have ranked this way higher than 4 out of 10. Alright, the second addition to the game, which is skill respec and 10,000 level cap. So let's start with skill respec. Skill respec is something that I and many others has been asking for a very long time. And they finally decided to add it. So for a cheap price of 5 uranium you can respec all your skills and pick new ones. I honestly have nothing bad to say about the respec, so that's an easy 10 out of 10. It's probably the best addition to the whole update in my opinion. Now the other thing related to skills in a way is the removal of the level 31 level cap, which now has been changed to 10,000. Every level of the 31 will now give you 5 uranium, but will not give you any more skill points. Now the only gripe I have about this new level cap is that I really don't see the point in it. I do not feel like grinding new levels at all, so it's just not worth it. 5 uranium per level is way too little to make it worth. In my opinion, they should have made it so the new levels did give you skill points, but you need loads of XP to level up, so it will take you ages to max out the skill tree. But right now the addition feels pointless, but there's nothing inherently wrong with it. So a 5 out of 10 will suffice. Alright, the last free addition that I feel like is worth mentioning in the review is the new control points in the farmlands. So 12 new control points have been added all across the farmlands, which also gives the opportunity for base assaults against Phoenix bases. To be honest, there is not much to say about this except that I think some of the new control points locations are quite cool. Especially the Ravina location. But there is a downside to this though. I feel like they added too many control points. It feels really spammy. In every spot in the farmlands you can almost see a control point. Another thing is, I hope the devs do not keep spreading these to other regions. I thought it was fine with having Forest region being the only region which let you do base assault. But if they decide to add control points to every region it's gonna be annoying, especially for new players. So the new control points gets a 7 out of 10, because they added too many and I do not like that they are spreading to other regions. Okay, let's end the video with the tactical equipment pack. For $6 you can get access to 5 new equipment items that are craftable at the crafting table. They are the automatic turret, the remote explosives, the deployable cover, the molotovs and the Toileo. I'm not gonna go too much in depth in how they all work, but I'll cover it quickly. The automatic turret is a turret that will automatically target enemies and shoot them. They last for around 30 seconds and you can place an infinite amount of them. To be honest, the turret is the biggest letdown in the pack. It does almost no damage, a turret struggles with taking out a single hunter. And the crafting recipe is quite pricey, and it's 8 electrolyte, which is one of the hardest materials to get in the game. The turrets are not worth the materials and should only be used if you wanna fuck around. Next up is the remote explosives, my personal favorite in the pack. With a cheap crafting recipe you can make remote explosives that stick to enemies, which you can then detonate with pressing the aiming button. You can have 5 at a time out in the field, which you can detonate. The remote explosive is the most fun thing in the pack. It's quite powerful and it's just good fun. 100% my favorite thing in the pack. Next item is the deployable cover. The deployable cover is a shield that you can place on the ground that can soak up damage from an enemy gunfire. After a certain amount of damage has been dealt to it, it breaks. It has quite a cheap crafting recipe, so it won't break your bank of materials. The deployable cover is a mixed bag for me. I can see the use of it, but I feel like it's not worth using. It can block a decent amount of damage, but I see no real point in it because why not use real cover instead? So this item is not worth it in my opinion, but maybe for someone else it's worth using. Alright, the next weapon is the long-awaited Molotov. The Molotov can be thrown at enemies to do dot damage. With a really cheap price you can throw loads of them against enemies. The Molotov is super overpowered. A good hit with it and the big machines can melt to HP. But it's quite finicky to get the good hit. Most of the time the Molotov won't do much, but if you soak some components with fire you will do some heavy damage. So we'll say this is a really good addition to a pack. Next up is the Toileo. This is the second favorite thing in the pack. For cheap crafting price you can place a small dog on the ground which will attract enemies, which then after a while will explode and damage everything around it. The Toileo is like strapping a flare to a couple of gas tanks. It does huge damage and can take out a horde of runners and hunters in an instant. This is an amazing addition to the pack. Now before I rank the DLC I have to talk about the price of the pack. The DLC costs a hefty $6, which makes it the most expensive micro DLC yet. This makes it very hard to recommend this pack to everyone, so only get the pack if you really want items. So as a rating overall for the pack I will give it a 7 out of 10. The deployable cover and turret and the price is what is dragging it down. If a buff to the turret was made and the price was lowered a bit, I would recommend this pack for everyone. But at this time I would only recommend it if you want items and are willing to part with so much money. Alright, so as a final verdict for the update plus DLC, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I get that the update was mostly about bug fixes, but it was advertised as a content update. And the content mostly does not hold up. The only content which is really good is the skill respec. Everything else is quite mediocre. And with the DLC being $6, I know that a lot of people won't be buying the DLC just because of the price alone. So is it worth returning to GC to play this? Maybe. In my opinion, go play this update if you intend on buying the DLC and feel like some of the new additions pique your interest. If not, then I would wait for a future update to return. Anyways, thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Also, what is your opinion of the update? Tell me in the comments. Anyways, goodbye.